Nope. Oh, here we go. Sorry about that. Today we are going to be doing the review for just the first half of chapter 14. So the start of the chapter 14 test. We're going to be going over the review worksheet. And so what we had to do first is we had to construct a frequency distribution. And so what I did to start that is I had to look through here and I said, what is my highest value of this list of information? So we're looking at the automakers. And we're required to give the gas mileages for the model of each car. And so these are the different miles or mileages that we have. So our highest value here is 37. The lowest value I had was 15. Okay. So first I said to myself, what is 37 minus 15? Okay. And I've got 22. I know I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 classes that I want. And so I'd say 22 and I divide it by 7. Okay. Here you're going to get 3 and then we get 10.3.1. Well, 3.1 you still have to increase it to 4. That you're going to have 4 in each of the groupings. Okay. So now we're going to here start with 15 and increasing it, saying what's 15, or there's 4 values. It's 15, 16, 17, and 18. So this actually goes 15 to 18. This one would be 19 to 22. Then we go 23 to 26, 27 to 30. So each time it looks like, yes, I am adding 3 because it is representing 4 numbers. 31 to 34, 35 to 38, and then finally 39 to 42. And you're actually going to find there's actually no values here, but we need to have those all represented. Sorry about that. I probably should have left that there. Okay. So tallies. So what I do is when I go through now, that's what I wanted to erase. I want to go through and I'm going to represent these. So I'm going to look at this 23, this 31, and the 28. So 23, 31, and the 28. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of tally it up. And when I'm looking at the next 3 numbers, the 27, the 29, and the 25. 27, 29 is right in here, and 25. So I can kind of go through all of mine, and I'm going to pause it and kind of through the magic technology, it'll be magically complete. Okay, so now I've gone through the whole list and I've recorded their tallies. And so what I found is that there's 1 value between 15 and 18, 2 between 19 and 22, 18 values between 23 and 26, 8 values, or excuse me, 7. I can't read my own writing there. Sorry about that. 7 values in the next category and next class, 2, 1, and 0. So then the next idea is I need to take that information and make a histogram from it. So I need to take this information. Along the bottom of my histogram, I'm going to start here at 15. You don't have to start at 0. So I'm going to start at 15. And then the next one is like anything between 15 but not quite 19. And so that's the next one I'm going to have. So now I do go up by 4s. I'm going to have 23, I'm going to have 27, I'm going to go down over to 31 and 35 and 39. So if you notice, what I'm actually writing down are the first numbers here. Because I don't want to write down 15 to 18 and then 19. So really what represents, what's in like this little category right here is 15 to right up to 19, but not quite 19. Okay, so I just kind of wanted to emphasize that. So let's talk then about what would go up here. The highest value was 18, so 18 is going to be here. Maybe we'll go by 2s, 16, 14. Oh, I'm going to run out of space really quick. 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 0. Okay, I came close. All right, so the first one was at 1. So we're right here at 1. The second one was at 2, just up ever so slightly. There we go, and then we're at 18. You can see where we have our spike. I should have kind of, sorry, let's fix that a little bit. All right, there we go. And then we are at 7. It should be about right here. And then between anything over 31 was at 1 again, which is really close. And then we're here at 0. So we can kind of show that. So that shows our distribution in a histogram. Histograms do touch. we do kind of, and I guess I kind of fudged it here a little bit. Like I probably wouldn't put that all the way up there at 18. I might come over here more. They do touch each other and they do have a range. So this does show between 15 and 19 here. This shows between 19 and 23 is what's in that category there. So I need to take that information and find from that information the mean, median, mode. Now, it's actually not very easy to take it from this table because this is actually doesn't show us how many of the 15 through 18 there were, how many of the 19 through 22. So when I did it and I went to go find the mean, median, mode, I went old-fashioned. I had to go back and I had to start over and I said, well, I wanted to put them in order, so I just put them in order from least to greatest. And so that's where I started. So I just started and I wrote all my numbers out from least to greatest. Once I did that, it was easy to find the mean, the median, and the mode. So I found my mean to be 26.1. I found the mode was 26. 26 was the one that was repeated the most. We already figured out that the minimum number was 15 and the maximum was 37, which we already figured out my range was 22. We had to do that. The median was that middle value. It turned out to be 26. The half of the lower quartile was 25, and the upper quartile was 26. Oh, excuse me, I apologize, it's 28. I'm misreading my information here, 28. That makes our interquartile range 28 minus 25, or 3. And then when I checked for outliers, let's talk about this. Checking for outliers, here, I guess I got this in here. We can kind of ignore this part right here right now. Checking for outliers, what I had to look for is you look at the lower quartile. So our lower quartile here was 25. And then I subtracted 1.5 times my interquartile range, 1.5 times 3. And then what I got for an answer there was 20.5. So I said to myself, are there any numbers that are below 20.5? And the answer was yes, there were two. The answers were, it was 15 and 20. Those are both considered outliers. So the answer is yes, and then these are my outliers. I have to look for upper outliers as well. And so for that, I looked at my upper quartile, which was 28, and then I took 1.5 times 3, and now I'm adding instead of subtracting. I got for an answer 32.5. So I'm asking myself, are there any values that are greater than 32.5 in my answers? And the answer was yes, there were numbers greater than 32.5, and that answer was 37. So my outliers are 15 and 20 and 37. So I had 3 outliers. Now, traditionally, and if you didn't do this, I don't think I'd count it wrong, but when I'm looking at now constructing the box and whisker plot, what I did is I started here at 14, and I went 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32. Oh, I probably needed to go smaller. I'll figure it out. All right. The way we traditionally have shown outliers, and we had an outlier, if you remember, at 37, and one at 15 here, and one at 20. All right, so those were considered our outliers. And then you kind of ignore them when you're doing the other points. So you kind of should have ignored the outliers. Now I understand if you didn't ignore the outliers, but by ignoring the outliers, your values would be here. 26 is another value, 28, and then this one would be right at 32, I think. So what I'm looking at is my 5-number summary here. And then you just show your outliers as these little open circles or open boxes. Open boxes are kind of seen more often. And these little values here, I'm going to kind of highlight, maybe I'll highlight them in green here. This is my 5-number summary that we found. So we have my minimum, and technically it's not my minimum, I get that, that's an outlier, is here because we do have 2 outliers here. And then we have our maximum, but it's really our maximum here. And then we have our Q1, median, and Q3. All right. So on a technicality, when there is outliers, you show your outliers with a little box, and it's not included then on your min, your median, and your Q1, Q3. So I just wanted to kind of show you that. Let's go on to the next section. I got an extra in here. Sorry about that. Now, second question. So that was all one question. Now it says make a stem and leaf plot for the following data. Okay, and we talked about this a little bit in class, in that the leaf part is always the last digit. Whether it's a decimal or not doesn't matter. So here my stems would go anywhere from 9 to 10 to 11 to 12 to 13 to 14 to 15. The leaf part of it will be, and let's kind of go across, 12.7 would be here, 12.7, 12.8, 11.2 is here, 11.9, 10.6, 9.4, 9.9, 13.7, 13.8, 13.2, 15.1. The only one that I don't have in order here is the 13.7, 13.8, and 13.2. I'm going to reorder that so it's least to greatest. So it's 13.2, 7, 8. I think the rest of them were just naturally in order. Okay. Then for this one, I was asked what is my mean, median, and mode for this problem. I think once, oh no, here I just had to find this list. I have a different problem. So the one thing I'm missing that I would count wrong if you don't get on a test, it's so important, is the key. Because I don't know if I just looked at your information here in your stem and leaf, is that 94 or 9.4? So I would need you to write the key that 9 stem of 9 leaf of 4 indicates 9.4. So I do need you to have that key to get credit for that problem. So 9/4, 9 line 4 is 9.4 there. Okay, so that's the answer to number 2. Now let's look on to number 3. Now we're given a stem and leaf, and and it tells us, okay, we're talking about numbers. Here's 90. Line 0 is a 90, and so now we're trying to figure out, okay, what's our mean, median, and mode? Mean is going to be the hardest. For mean, I actually had to add up 90 plus 91 plus 95, sorry, plus 102 plus 104 plus 105 plus 105 plus 107. All of those, I had to add all up. So when I added everything up, I got 1766, and there are 16 values, so I divided it by 16. And I got for an answer 110, and it's 0.37 something. So I made it 110.4. Median was a little easier. With the median, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 numbers. I knew that. I have to count in and I see where is it between the 8th and the 9th number, because that will be halfway. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right there is actually where my halfway point is. So it's in between 107, the highest one in this column, or in this row, and the lowest one in this column is 113. And so what I needed to do is just find out what is that halfway point between 107 and 113. Well, when I did that math, I got an answer of 110. That's the halfway point we need between 107 and 113. The mode was which one occurs most often, and actually this 8 is twice and this 5 is twice. And so there's actually 2 modes, and the modes here are 105 and the mode of 118. Excuse me. So you can have 2 modes, just list them both. You can have more than 2 modes. You can have multiple modes. All right, so now it's okay, find the 5-number summary. And this one does not have an outlier. We would see like a little empty box or a little empty circle, so no outliers. And yeah, you kind of have to estimate, but I have a good number line here underneath. So I would put this number right here. If this is 31, 32, 33, this is at 33. This is 25, this is at 24. This would be at 8, this would be at 1, right here, 2, 3, so I'd put this at 4 right here. Although that was hard. It looks to be a little bit between 3 and 4. That's the one I'd probably be a little understanding if you had a 3 or a 4. So I'd want you to list it. I want you to write your 5-number summary is not just 1, 4, 8, 24, and 33. I want you to tell me, hey, the minimum is 4. The first quartile is, or excuse me, minimum is 1. I said it wrong. First quartile is 4. The median is 8. The third quartile is 24. And the maximum value in this set of data is 33. All right. The test does not cover anything that's not covered in this review. So if you did well on this review, you should do very well on the test. Good luck, and just come in and take the test with Mrs. Kennedy in room 346 any 7th hour, or if you've made arrangements with me anytime when I'm in the building.